trust and power to give people a sort of second picture of it, and I use this in my work. So it talks about power at one end and trust at the other, and negotiated agreement. Okay, and as a manager, as a person, I need to consciously think about how I'm going to use my power.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And in decision making, I need to consider it. So what this suggests, this trust, I call this the trust and power scale. In a healthy organisation,
Yep.
it operates on this scale.
Right.
Light power
Yep.
operates, and good culture operates
Right.
on this scale.
Can I just ask a quick question, just if
Yep.
to clarify, in case students are wondering? Is this suggesting that where there's where power doesn't play much of a role in decision making is based more on trust?
Yes, it is.
Where there's an absence of trust, it's more based on formal
Power.
sort of power.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. All right.
And
Yep.
the objective is to bring both those extremes
Right.
into the middle.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay?
Yep. Yep.
Because blind trust is not helpful. So you and
Right.
I might be very close. We've worked together for
Yeah.
10 years.
Right.
We don't even have to say anything, and we make agreements.
Right.
That's a wonderful way of working, and we all love that. But when we now have 10 people with us,
Yeah.
and 8 people are trying to work out how we make decisions,
Right.
we need to come down the trust scale
Right.
into this arranging and agreeing. So rather than just recognising it with you and I, that's
Yep.
blind.
Yep.
It's wonderful for you and I, but it's not good for anybody else.
Everyone else, yep.
They feel like there's a click. They feel like they can't get in.
Right.
Okay?
Right. Right.
And so different organisations and different teams need to be very conscious of this, high trust environment.
Yep.
We don't want to make it blind trust, where we follow each other
Right.
without question.
Right.
We want
Right.
it to be conscious, and we
Yep.
want to make the agreement conscious. So we will consciously bring ourselves down into this centre.
Right.
So everyone around us will see how we've made this decision. Okay, so recognising just means we just look at each other and we know.
Yep.
Attuning means we have a conversation and we're both on the same page.
Yep.
This arranging and agreeing means that we consciously verbalise it so everyone around us knows why we're making the decision.
Right.
So that's in the middle. And then we've got the power scale and we've got laws. So, I had to drive on one side of the road and wear a seatbelt.
Right.
You will have laws about coming to work and harassment and bullying and pay rates and all those sorts of things. So
Right.
that's where laws relate. Norms and regulations then are things that exist in organisations. So at Monash University,
Right.
you'll have certain norms and regulations which will be on top of the laws that exist in society
Right.
that will determine how things happen at Monash University. Okay?
Yep.
And then there's another level within that. So the norms and regulations may be written policies,
Yep.
but within that, people have somewhere to play in the policy, and there are what we call play rules.
Yeah.
So that's, we're all playing in the sandpit,
Yep.
and we're following the laws and we're following the norms and regulations, but there are still play rules about how to play in the sandpit, and
Yep.
that's where values and behaviours come in.
Right.
So what we're doing is here, if I'm your boss and you're not doing well,
Yep.
and we have a performance conversation, and I say, so some of your behaviour is not consistent with the values and behaviours of our organisation. We need you to do this.
Yep.
We need you to stop yelling at people as a manager.
Yep.
And I may need to offer you some training and education and development.
Right.
And if you accept it but do nothing, then I may then need to start performance managing you,
Yep.
giving you a letter of warning,
Right.
and I move down into the norms and regulations, and then I move
Right.
down into the power, and then I dismiss you.
Right. So it's away from trust.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the reason why it's in the light is because I'm doing it.
Right.
And I've
Right.
told you I'm doing it.
Right.
And everybody in that group of people knows that there's a formal performance management process, and that's
Right.
healthy.
Right.
The thing that's not healthy is when things happen that no one knows about.
Right.
Okay?
Yep.
So off this scale are the dark side of life. It's
Yep.
when people get manipulated, when people get pushed into roles that no one knows about.
Yep.
A role gets created and all of a sudden Bill, my friend, gets the job. There's no formal transparency or recruitment process.
Right.
And so in my work, I'm always trying to move on to the power and trust scale, and that
Right.
means we need to have difficult conversations
Yep.
throughout our process in performance management, but in organisational life making decisions. We need to name what the truth is.
Right.
And so part of the politics is not naming what's there. Now,
Okay.
this is something that we work quite actively with, and just ask people, so are we on the trust and payout scale?
Right.
Okay. Now, this is once again, if I'm a leader and I've never ever, so I think about a leader having a loaded gun in their pocket because they've got power to sack someone,
Yep.
but if they've never seen to pull their gun out, they have enormous influence because power is a very blunt instrument. Okay. Versus if that manager and leader works on trust and relationship,
Yep.
the level of power they have is much greater than the formal power.
Right.
Because
Right.
their influence is substantial.
Right.
So when something significant happens in an organisation, they become the go-to person because
Right.
they understand the system of relationships.
Yes.
And it's not about power, it's
Yep.
about influence.
Yep.
And influence is far more powerful than formal power.
Power. Yeah.
So it sort of gives you a sense of how influence plays on a scale,
Yep.
and certain people are far more capable, and we can say, going back to the emotional intelligence, they're far more emotionally intelligent to know the right decision
Right.
because they can see the consequences of a decision.
Right. Right.
So I might make a decision that means I win
Yep.
today, but I might lose the whole workforce.
Sure. Or the
And that's-
commitment. Yeah.
Or the commitment.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a very important part of this picture about influencing, and how you actively work with these political behaviours
Right.
to be able to work on this scale. Now, if you're working with someone who
Yep.
doesn't work on the scale,
Yep.
you've got challenges.